really weird, because one thing that you only realize when you're an adult is that all of your perceptions of what were going on back then in terms of how other people saw what was happening were probably wrong. And they're very, very extreme. I was a kid with a book. I was one of the book kids. I was reading last night in the book Sarah Mendelssohn's new book, the title of which I've already embarrassingly forgotten. Say it again?
Rhetorical fantasy.
No, not rhetorical fantasy. One of kids' books. Thank you, Intergalactic Playground. And she talks about the phenomenon of those kids. You know, there's one kind of kid you have to try and get to read, and they talk a lot about the phenomenon of the reluctant reader. They don't talk about those kids from whom you have to pry the book in order that they can talk to other people, or you know, or go to sleep that night, or whatever. I was a prior. I was that.
How many flashlights? How many torch batteries did you go through?
Many. Yeah. Absolutely many. You know, but only at my grandmother's. When I was at my grandmother's, I read, actually got the flashlight, the torch, and read under the covers. You know, at home, I would just keep the door open to the hall, keep the light on in the hall, and was very good at reading in the amount of light that came in from the hall. Oh, good.
You're not so strange after.
I didn't think I was strange. My sister, I got an email from my younger sister at the point where the Beowulf film came out. I'd taken her and her family to premiere. I think of either Beowulf or Stardust, and she wrote to me and she said, you know, you were an incredibly embarrassing brother to have. When I was 6 or 7 at that age where you get embarrassed by things, and you were 12 or 13. She said nobody else's brother would walk down the street reading, and if he bumped into a lamppost, apologize to it without looking up at So that's one perspective on me. The other one was just reading a friend of mine, Jeff Notkin, who was later the drummer in my punk band, and now is an asteroid hunter, not an asteroid hunter, meteorite hunter. Probably like to hunt asteroids too, but he goes and hunts meteorites and polishes them up and goes off on strange exhibitions and so on and so on. And reading something that he wrote recently about the nightmare that was the school that we were at. We were both at, well, I was about 15, 16, and just talking about how the amount of sort of mad chaos that was going on at the school, and how I sort of walked through it completely unaffected because I was in a book and just ignored everybody, and there's a little universe of my own. And that was another point of view on it. From my perspective, I didn't care. I was, you know, I just found a copy of Babel 17, and I was a long way away. That was where I wanted to be that day, or in Moorcock's world.
So let me sort of